So, my name is Eddie. I sing and play violin in a Swedish metalcore band called Imminence, and we're heading down to Australia for the first time ever to play Good Things Festival. We're super excited about it.
Good evening, Eddie. Thanks for joining us, brother.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. As you mentioned, Imminence will make your way to Australia for the first time ever in December to play at Good Things Festival in Melbourne on December 6th, Sydney on the 7th, and Brisbane on the 8th, mate. Like, why have you neglected us for so long? This is your first trip.
It's always about getting that formal invitation you're waiting for, right?
Yeah, true, true, true. You got to be invited before you're supposed to be invited before you go
Yeah.
somewhere. Good Things also features KORN, Sum 41, Electric Callboy, Mastodon, Kerry King, and heaps more, man. So, is there any bands on that bill that you haven't played with before?
Probably have played with every single one of them on festivals. We have a lot of festivals over here in Europe. We're a bit
Yeah,
spoiled that way. So you got to see a lot of great bands over here.
yeah, true. It's got to be a huge honour for you guys to be invited to a festival like this without actually playing in Australia before, and then like knowing people are keen for you. So it's massive honour.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm. And so, being your first time coming to a new country, mate, like, do you talk to other bands and ask them what you expect, or do you rather come in cold and just sort of see how things happen?
I think we'll come in cold. I mean, already have some people down there that we're friends with or through the internet, so it's gonna be great to finally see them. And I think that we should just go in there with an open mind and see how it's like.
Yeah, true. And what are you actually expecting from Australian crowds? Like, you expecting us to be rowdy? You expecting us to be calm? What sorts of things going on?
I don't know. You never know. When we were in the States this year, it could be so different from night to night as well. So like some cities we had really rowdy crowds, and
Yeah.
on some cities it was more like people just standing there and experiencing the music. So we're not expecting or hoping that a crowd goes a certain way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, so I suppose the flip side of that, bro, is that Australian audiences don't know what to expect from you guys either. So run us through a typical Imminence live show.
wow, good question. Um, I think that we have come to a point as a band where we like to have quite a diverse live show. And it's not just about creating mosh pits or having the most wild show. It's about what we are as a band and the diversity of our music and presenting that on the stage.
You know? So the thing with festivals, bro, is like there's so many bands on there that people haven't seen before and haven't experienced, which is a great thing. But for people not familiar with Imminence going to Good Things, give us three songs of yours that they should listen to get to know the band.
A very good song, I think, is "The Black" from our latest album, the title track. Um, I would say I'm gonna pick from different albums then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say "Infectious" from "Turn the Light On" and "Temptation" from "Heaven and Hiding." You can get a pretty good um, picture of Imminence with those songs.
Sweet. Now, going back in history a little bit, bro, like Imminence started with yourself and guitarist Harold while you were still in high school, man. So, how similar was your music back then to how it's become now?
Yeah, we started out like the first idea of Imminence was that we wanted to play melodic death metal. We were huge In Flames fans. We basically wanted to have a band that sounded like In Flames.
Right.
We ended up going a little bit a different way. But it's actually, since we released our debut album 10 years ago, I feel like we've kind of gone a little bit full circle as this latest album, The Black, is probably the closest one musically to that first album, and we've been on quite a journey in between there. Um,
Yeah, very cool. So back then, man, like while other teams were out chasing girls and getting drunk, like you guys both knuckled down and focused on making music a career. So what sorts of things did you do to actually make that happen?
It was always about reaching for the next goal, no matter how small that was. And when we started the band, the first goal was, to get on a stage, any stage, play a show. And now we did that. We next goal was to go into the studio, record some songs. And as the time grew, we set higher and higher goals, but still, achievable goals that we could do in a year's time or something like that. And that's always been our philosophy and approach to the music. It's just like how do we get from this point and just take the next step.
Yeah, cool. Your music itself, like it blends the ferociousness of Scandinavian metal with classic string elements, right? So where did that idea come from? It's sort of not the type of thing that everyone does.
I started playing violin when I was 5 years old, and it was always there, with me. But at first, it wasn't like something that we really incorporated that much. On our first album, we had string arrangements on the songs, some of the songs, and actually on the second album, we kind of let that go, and it wasn't until our third album where we experimented a little bit with bringing in the violin as a lead instrument. Apart from my vocals, it was something that we really felt clicked and connected, and from that point, we've just been doing that.
Mm. How hard is it to combine the violin with the metal elements? I guess to make them work so well together. Is it a difficult process?
I wouldn't say too difficult. I mean, violin in metal is kind of like it's a really good marriage, I would say, and it's been there for a long time with other bands as well. I think it's just that it's not so common in this scene and the style of music that we're playing, that you have someone actually doing that live. I think that's more with symphonic bands or folk metal bands, things like that has always brought that to the stage, but it's not so common with modern bands.
Yeah, and like in the writing and development process, I guess, like how do you gauge when maybe you've gone too far with one style or not far enough with another?
In which way?
Like with the violin, like can you listen to a song and say like there's too much violin in there for metal, or that needs more? Like how do you work that out?
We always write the song for the song itself, if that makes sense. So I'm not afraid to pull back on the violin. I don't want it to have to be in there. It should always be in the best interest of the song and what the song needs.
Yeah, very cool. All right, Brad. Well, I've started a new thing up that I'm just showing bands a photo of theirs that I grabbed off of them from the internet. Just going to ask you to explain the story behind it. So, is it okay if I show yours?
What is it?
It's just a photo that I pulled off the internet from you guys.
Okay, yeah.
So
yeah, sure.
I've got this one. So what?
Nice one.
What was actually going on there? Like, were they trying to hand you something, or were they trying to give you a high five?
I think that is more of a high five. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know which venue that is even.
Yeah, where was it?
I think it's Viper Room in Vienna.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. This should be on our tour in 2016, I believe. Mm-hmm. If not 15 or 16. But yeah, it's definitely a throwback.
Have you ever had any bad experience? Like when someone reaches out to you like that, like you ever had any bad experience where they grab you and try to pull you in, or?
No, I never really felt that actually. We've been touring for a long time, but I never felt like we had those type of fans. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's a lot of respect from our fans and from us to them as well. that I never really experienced something bad in that way.